This radio program is PG-13. Parents strongly caution some material may be inappropriate for children under the age of 13.
The following program is sponsored by Michael W. Smith. The views expressed on the following program are those of the host and not necessarily those of staff, management, or ownership.
Phoenix, Arizona. Brother Mike is back on the radio. HardcoreChristianity.com. Thanks for tuning in today. Today's Bible study, Mass Hysteria. It's coming to a neighborhood near you. Hey, will you call somebody and tell them the radio program is on? I'll make my usual announcements while you make that call. Tell them the radio program's ready to go. This is Brother Mike. I'm a professional counselor. Been that way for almost 40 years. Can you imagine that? At the Arizona Deliverance Center. We're downtown on 15th Avenue, just south of Osborne Road. HardcoreChristianity.com is a website, and you will notice that we have 2 live services every week. Preaching, teaching, healing, and deliverance on Thursday and Friday nights. Also broadcast on our streaming channel on YouTube, youtube.com/House of Healing AZ. In addition, we're also broadcast on Twitch and GodTube.com. If you go to the miracle list, if you go to the website, you can get a copy of the miracle list. If you can't come for deliverance, I will send it to you. Send me an email at mike@hardcorechristianity.com. I'll send you a copy of the miracle, deliverance, and healing list. Step-by-step procedure that you can go through to be healed. If you send me the email today, I will send it out today. Don't forget about our quarterly children's deliverance services. Don't forget about the PayPal button on the website so you can send us another donation to keep the radio station on the air. Thank you for helping us for the past 19 years. Don't forget to send Sister Karen another referral for your house to be listed for sale. She loves working with born-again Christians, obviously. And don't forget about my trip to Oceanside, California. I will be out there for a service Sunday, October 31st. Mass hysteria. That is a psychological term. Actually, the technical term is mass psychogenic illness. They also call it epidemic hysteria. And it's a situation where a spontaneous manifestation of the same or similar hysterical physical symptoms occur in more than one person. Okay? It's a common manifestation of mass hysteria. It always occurs in groups. It's groups of people believing psychologically and mentally that they are suffering from a similar disease or a similar condition or a similar ailment. You've probably heard of it before. Mass hysteria has occurred in the Bible in the past. 1 Samuel chapter 14, Saul and Jonathan defeated the Philistines when they began to, through a condition similar to mass hysteria, they began to slaughter themselves. In 2 Chronicles chapter 20, King Jehoshaphat won an incredible battle against the Amorites and the Moabites, who went through something similar to mass hysteria, where they started to slaughter each other and kill one another when they thought the enemy was them. They thought the enemy was them. Mass hysteria, believe it or not, is a relatively common occurrence. It's a psychiatric condition caused by demons. For example, in the 1500s, the dancing plague occurred in Strasbourg, France. Numerous people started dancing non-stop for days. A woman named Frau Toffea started it. She began to fervently dance in the street outside of her Strasbourg apartment. This thing spread like crazy, and 30 or 40 other people started doing it, and they could not stop. It lasted up to 6 days. It lasted almost a week, and eventually got to over 400 people uncontrollably dancing in the streets. This wasn't a rumor. This was fully documented by physicians, pastors, Catholic priests, everybody. This was fully documented. It is not a pipe dream or a rumor. This actually happened. Many of the people died from it. They danced until they collapsed from total exhaustion, heart attacks, falling down. It was utterly amazing. Nobody could believe it. In Tanzania, in 1962, a demonic, satanic laughter plague, hit a boarding school. Somebody told a joke that triggered it, and suddenly the students started uncontrollably laughing. And it just continued, and it would not stop. Then it started to spread in the community. The situation got so bad, and again, this is fully documented by physicians and ministers and priests in the area. This thing got so bad they had to shut the school down, and it transferred to some of the other citizens in the area near the boarding school. And it transferred to other boarding schools, believe it or not, and some of them developed the same psychogenic demonic activity. We had something similar here back in the 90s when Rodney Howard-Browne and some other ministers started this holy laughter movement. It started here in the United States. A bunch of churches started going through holy laughter, they called it. People were laughing and laughing and laughing nonstop for hours. And they thought it was the Holy Spirit when actually it was familiar spirits. This demonic laughter in Tanzania, they all had the same symptoms. They had chronic pain in their body. Many of them were fainting. They had respiratory problems, rashes. They also had intermittent attacks of laughing and crying. Some of Kenneth Hagin, the late minister, he had some holy laughter in his churches, and it just spontaneously broke out. Hinduism has them. It's happened before. It happened in 1995. The Hindu milk miracle. Suddenly, Hindu worshippers were offering a milk to Lord Ganesha, and they would put a spoonful of milk up to the statue, and suddenly it would disappear. It would suddenly disappear. And it spread to temples. Dozens and dozens of temples were now doing it, putting a spoonful of milk up to a Hindu statue, and suddenly the milk would disappear. And people were amazed and were laughing and crying and stunned. It was absolutely amazing. In 1962, the June bug mass hysteria broke out. It broke out in a factory here in the United States that was making clothing. It was a textile factory. And it spread through the entire plant. Dozens and dozens of people, up to 60 or 70 people, suddenly felt June bugs on their body, biting them. It was mass hysteria. Everybody started developing strange symptoms: numbness, nausea, dizziness, vomiting. People were having the same symptoms. They had bugs on their legs, bugs on their arms, bugs on their necks. It was utterly amazing. It was fully documented by numerous physicians that were treating the people. The United States Public Health Service Communication Disease Center got involved with it, and they concluded that it was a condition of psychogenic mass hysteria. These people were having psychogenic bites on their bodies. They were getting sick. They were getting ill. And it was all psychological. Mass hysteria. There was never any evidence found for a June bug that was causing the sicknesses. Many of them had flu-like symptoms from these June bugs that were allegedly biting them on their legs and their arms and their face and so on. People were totally amazed. You remember back in 1938? I don't, because I wasn't born then, but everybody knows about it. The War of the Worlds. An episode on American radio hit the airs where America was being invaded by Martians. It was a Halloween story. October 30th, 1938, it aired over Columbia Broadcasting System. And I mean, it caused fear to sweep the United States. People actually thought that Martians were invading Earth and America, and people were having severe anxiety attacks. Severe psychogenic mass hysteria swept the United States. People were scared to death, leaving their homes, running out in the hills to hide. It was an enormous phenomenon. In May 2001, the Monkey Man hysteria broke out in Delhi, New Delhi, in India. People started seeing a monkey-looking like creature, around 4 foot tall, had black hair, had a metal helmet, metal claws, glowing red eyes. Of course, that was a Sa'ir that's mentioned in the Bible, is a spirit that lived in the woods in the Old Testament. And this spirit would come out of the woods and attack people at night. They would attack them while they were sleeping, usually in the middle of the night during a REM sleep. They would attack the person. Some of them would rape people. Some of them would sexually assault them. It's going on to this day. People report demons that come into their room and attack them sexually. But the Monkey Man in New Delhi was nothing more than one of these demonic Sa'irs mentioned in the Old Testament. And it's mentioned in Isaiah chapter 13 and Isaiah chapter 34. Mass hysteria is being heaped on the United States now through the vaccine hoax, the mask hoax, the COVID-19 hoax, and these kind of mass demonic attacks by demons that take over a group, a town, a village, a factory, or what have you. These night-stalking demons attack using fear. Fear, and that's what they're doing right now. They're trying to generate seeds of mass hysteria in the United States over these fake vaccines that don't work, COVID-19 fears that everybody's going to die. If you have these fears, you can be delivered. 602-636-5800. Please come for help today.
The views expressed on this program are those of the host and not necessarily those of staff, management, or ownership. This program was sponsored by Michael W. Smith.